really thank the police.
Are we live? Now we are live. We are officially, ladies and gentlemen, we are officially fucked because now the PM is literally announcing the new tier 4, which means I'm listening to Boris Johnson live.
Get it right, and they'll continue to do so.
In terms of
I never understand this fucking guy from the beginning when he talks about the tiers anyway, so we're completely fucked, I think. But as I'm listening, I thought I wanted to record it.
I think they'll arise for every time a virus replicates, it can make a mistake, and so some of these things just arise by chance. The question is what advantage it gives the virus, and this one seems to have given advantage of transmissibility.
So tier 3 is over at 12 o'clock. We're going into tier 4. We're completely fucked. Businesses are completely fucked too. I don't know, my head's gone right now. I was going to do a podcast about something else totally different, but now we've just got announced tier 4. What the fuck?
At a global level, when you start to get a handle on where these changes are occurring in the virus across the world, it's going to be an important part of surveillance going forward.
Brilliant, thank you. Nigel Nelson, Sunday Mirror.
One for the Prime Minister. Given you were at least aware that there was a new variant of the virus out there as far back as November, do you now feel it was reckless to promise 5 days of Christmas against scientific advice?
Bring the camera.
And if I may ask Chris Whitty a question, earlier in the week you were talking about keeping meetings at Christmas time short, without specifying what short was. Can you say now for tiers 1, 2 and 3 whether that should be seeing Granny for a cup of tea for an hour, a 2-hour Christmas lunch, or 4 hours going to sleep over the telly?
Well, no, Nigel. First of all, thank you very much. But we've always taken account of scientific advice, always tried to follow it, and that is what we're doing today, because the science is clearly changing and has changed in the sense that our understanding of this new virus, its transmissibility, has been radically shifted just in the last 24 hours.
Now we've got a new fucking
of the people before you.
Now we've got a new fucking virus, as if we dealt with fucking coronavirus in the first place, and now it's saying to us that we've got a new virus for tier 4. We're fucked.
In answer to the question you put to me, I mean, what I said, and I'm very happy to repeat it, is to the extent you possibly can, keep it small, keep it short, keep it local, and remember the vulnerable are vulnerable. And that is still absolutely the message. So if you've got your grandmother, you really want to minimise the amount of contact, you want to keep it at a distance, you do want to have the shortest period you can, because what you really want is to get to the point when your grandmother has been vaccinated, ideally when you and people around you have been vaccinated, taking the risk right down. At that point we're in a different place. But at this point in time, at this really, really critical and dangerous time, pre-vaccine but high transmission, I repeat it, keep it small, keep it short, keep it local, and remember the vulnerable. And short should mean as short as you can manage with a reasonable social interaction.
And I think one way to think about it is assume you could be infectious. I mean, it's not somebody else's issue, it's your own issue. You might be infectious, and that's the way that we have to behave at this moment. Assume you might be infectious.
Yes, it can't be stressed too often that a lot of the transmission of the infection is by people who don't have symptoms at the time. And I don't think people who still now fully get that in the way that perhaps they need to. It's absolutely vital, I think. I think 1 in 3 infections are transmitted asymptomatically still, and people really need to realise that. Can we go to Anna Mikhailova of the Mail on Sunday?
Prime Minister, you said earlier that when the facts change, you have to change your approach. But the facts 3 days ago were you knew about the new strain and you knew that infections were rising. And still you said it was too late to cancel Christmas. How do you expect people to follow the rules when they keep changing? And secondly, another question for you, Prime Minister. are you going to put any additional support in place for businesses and shops that have to close now?
Thanks, Anna. Well, on the
that's what I'm talking about. Go, Gil.
The facts of the science. I think we've tried to spell out this afternoon what has changed, and what has changed is the velocity of transmission, our understanding of how fast this disease is transmitted, and the susceptibility of people to getting it. As I say, NervTag thinks it's up to 70% more transmissible now than the old variant. We simply can't ignore that. That's data that's been in our possession now for a day or so. We have to act to protect the public, and obviously, Anna, we will do everything that we can, as usual, to look after business, to look after jobs and livelihoods throughout the pandemic, and we'll continue to do that with the loan scheme, with furloughing, which the Chancellor has now extended right the way through to the end of April. We'll continue to look after your businesses that are forced to close as a result of what alas is happening. They will receive the protections that we have put in place, the loans, the grants that we've put in place, and we'll continue with all that. But I want to stress that this is a race, and we still are doing our absolute level best to protect the public, whilst we know that the vaccine is arriving. And I'm very, very confident, more confident than ever, that we'll get that vaccine into a significant proportion of the population by the spring, and that things will be radically different for our country by Easter. I'm absolutely convinced of that. And although this is unquestionably a difficult moment in the campaign against this virus and the struggle against this virus, those fundamental facts, that fundamental reason for optimism about the progress that we've made, that remains unchanged. Thank you all very much.
So the Prime Minister concluding that coronavirus briefing. Sombre and sobering news there, along with Professor Chris Whitty and Professor Patrick Brallins. Let's just recap the main details of that news conference, the very significant changes that have been announced for Christmas and London and the South.
Recap is this, basically, moral of the story, we are fucked, and they're saying that they're going to pay us out for being closed. I don't know. I seriously don't know about what's going to happen with the tier 4. I didn't even understand the tier 3, to be honest, with the tier 4. So, I don't know. My head's gone right now. Keep top. What's the new rules? Let's hear it together.
Households for the festive season can now only take place on Christmas Day, from midnight to night. The tightest restrictions will be part of a new Tier 4 category, similar to the last national lockdown in November, and it will affect areas such as Kent, Essex, Bedfordshire, Buckinghamshire, and all 32 boroughs of London. People will be advised not to travel into or out of Tier 4 areas, and the restrictions come in from midnight to night. In Tier 4, a stay-at-home order will be issued to residents, although those who have to travel for education or work may continue to do so.
Oh, so we are open for work, which is we are open for
one other person in an open public space. All non-essential retail will have to close, along with hairdressers, nail bars and indoor entertainment venues. And let's take a look at those scaled-back Christmas plans for people in Tier 4. There is no household mixing for areas in that category, but support bubbles are unaffected by that. And for areas in Tiers 1 to 3, people can only mix on Christmas Day.
Only on Christmas Day, COVID doesn't exist, okay, guys?
Let's get a little bit more perspective now. Nick Eardley is here. Nick, you were on the money. This was going to be a pretty dire assessment of the situation.
So basically, we're allowed to work.
Just for those areas, London, South East.
So basically, we're allowed to work. So we're going to continue doing our photo shoots and video shoots. You're more than welcome. You can DM me to book in your photo shoot. We've got a fella, photography by accident, which is Mr. Will. He's on the photo shoot sides, as well as KG Knows, who's another guy. So yeah, moral of the story, we are closed for restaurant and lounges and bars and all of that bollocks. but we are open for work space, basically photography and video shoot. So you're more than welcome to join our video shoot. Tier 4 fucked us, but yeah, this is it for now.